Good morning, traders. This is your daily market breakdown. We have seen quite an aggressive reaction on the GBP USD from this weekly demand zone down here. We can see that it has been generating ascending highs, ascending lows, and ascending highs. We have now seen this huge surge into the upside. And any of you who had taken that trade based off that live stream from last Wednesday, well done. Congratulations on TPing. Yeah, this was the original potential target, but I was waiting for the data to come out from the US, which came out yesterday, and I'm assuming pushed quite a lot of this into the upside because the economic data that came out was not very good for the labor markets in the US. So we're quite clearly seeing an interesting trend reversal into the upside. What I'll be looking to do today is potentially wait for that pullback from here, swing high, swing low from here, and I would be waiting for something to come down to around this level. If I drop down to the lower time frames, I'll probably be able to see a little bit more of a clearer region of where the price may end up going, and then look at entering into that another long position and hoping that the market then breaks structure into the upside. So that will be my setup for the GBP USD today going into next week. Heading over to euro dollar. Yes, I'm in a very big trade on this one at the moment. As we can, let me zoom out to the week. Again, we have just seen that the euro dollar has been pushing up quite aggressively, and then we ended up in this kind of consolidation, and we started to see some breaks of structures into the downside. What I'm determining now is that because of this consolidation, we can see that the price usually has a reaction within this region. And when we see that reaction, we see a breaker structure into the upside. And this would be where the breaker structure may occur. And it's very close to the month's open. That's why I took that trade, because I'm just expecting the price to now reverse back into the upside. And so I'm looking for that long position, or at least I've entered into that long position. On the lower time frames, yeah, we're going to get some choppiness on the way up. As we can see here, that the price failed to break this previous high here. So this is a little bit concerning, but very similar to the GBP USD, I'm expecting the price to come down a little bit more before pushing up and breaking market structure. So if you're, because it's the 4-hour frame, if you're looking for those small shorting opportunities on the lower time frames, completely understand. But then overall, it's going to likely bottom out around this area before then continuing into the upside. At least that's my analysis for that. Heading over to USD JPY. Oh my goodness, right? This is exactly the reason why I was not trading this currency. The Bank of Japan clearly stepped in. There is no way retail traders push this much down. Look what happened. Look at this. It's absolutely phenomenal that we have just pushed up nice and slowly and then dramatically just seen this huge drop into the downside. By the way, I'll be looking for long positions now, because very similar to what we saw here, right? Just this massive drop, huge drop into the downside. Maybe we'll could see a repetition where the price again drops again before pushing up, but I'll just be looking for those long opportunities now on the lower time frames, and just basically trying my luck with that, because this huge amount of manipulation clearly didn't work previously, and I don't know what policies I'll have to look into it. Maybe you guys know more than me, but economic policies that Japan are bringing out, I don't see how they're getting around their 300% debt to GDP ratio and raising interest rates and then trying to figure out how to pay off that debt with an increase in interest rate. I don't know what their plans are. So I'd imagine it will continue to devalue, at least in my mind. But yeah, so I'll probably be looking for those long positions. I won't do that analysis now on the daily market breakdown, but you can just see this is the reason why I didn't want to trade this currency pair, right? Because of this manipulation. It's just astounding. It just goes against all technicals, right? We're completely at the mercy of the Bank of Japan. So I don't really enjoy trading current pairs like that. Taking a look over at the DXY, yes, we see a continuation. As I said on the live trading, that if we saw that fail, which we did, we're likely going to end up into this potential demand zone. We'll see that initial reaction. What we could see happening is a potential push back into around this area before continuing down, breaking market structure, and that will play really nicely into all of our other currency pairs. If we are going to continue into the downside, then we're likely going to continue that fall all the way into this region down here, this green box, this area of demand. So hopefully we'll see that continuation into the downside, and then that will allow my euro dollar to TP, which will be great. But yeah, we're in a bit of a trend reversal here on the DXY into the downside. So I'll be looking for those shorting opportunities with this pair, with this currency. Heading over to XAU USD, massive surge into the upside. As we know, when the DXY goes down, gold often goes up. There is a bit of a correlation there. So we have now seen that there has been, we've been waiting for this pivotal reversal in trend. And I think we're seeing it now, right? Because if we look at the week, we can see that the price came down to this weekly demand zone, and we can quite clearly see a very strong reaction occurring when it entered into this demand zone. And because of that, and also what we can see are numerous breaks of structure into the upside. I haven't mapped it all out, but numerous breaks of structure into the upside. You can see a beautiful break of structure here, beautiful change of character here, beautiful another break of structure here, another break of structure here. It's just telling us that this is going to continue upward. So what we're likely going to wait for is I'm a little bit cautious of this region here. What we might end up seeing is something that like this, where we'll continue pushing up to the zone or almost just below this zone. And then we might see a push down to roughly around here and then a push up. And the reason I say that is because we have just created a new internal demand zone here. And there's likely quite a bit of liquidity resting above this region here. So we're going to grab that liquidity, push back down into this demand zone. Hopefully the buyers will step back in and then push, go back up, breaking market structure. That is my play. That is how I'll be playing XAU USD today into next week. Heading over to BTC USDT. Well, I am wrong. I was wrong here. Well, not entirely wrong. I honestly thought because of the momentum, we were going to see that BTC was going to come down to roughly around this area before we see that reversal. But I had mapped out this other range here, or this other level here, for that potential reversal to occur. I'm still a bit skeptical here. I don't know if taking a long, yes, on the 4-hour frame, we are breaking market structure. We've broken market structure here, but it's a bit of a weak break, right? So what we could be seeing is price coming up, or BTC coming up, taking whatever liquidity is resting above there. We can see these nice price action candles. What we might end up seeing is something like this, where it fails to break this new high. And if that is the case, I'm looking for those shorting positions, and this would be my target. Okay, so although we are waiting for that trend reversal to occur with the BTC USDT, I don't quite think we've seen it yet. But it is showing those signs that, okay, this is a very key. Let me zoom out, guys, so I'll just make it a little bit more clear. We are seeing the signs because this is a potential weekly demand. And let me just remove this the yellow drawings here. And because the price has entered into this potential weekly demand, we are seeing that reaction now on the lower time frames, okay? So that's what I'm saying. We've been waiting for this potential reversal back into the upside. I still think that BTC by the end of sometime this year will retrace back toward the $80,000-$90,000 mark, and that's what we're waiting to see. But while we're waiting, yes, we can certainly trade the lower time frames, both from shorting and going long opportunities. I think at this point in time, it's going to struggle here. Like I said, if the price comes down, comes back up, but fails to create a new higher high, then, okay, we're likely just going to continue on the way down. Okay, so that's my play for BTC USDT. So there it is, traders. That is your daily market breakdown.